What is up, Nuggets? It's your boy, Killer Pizza, here with a brand new video for you rascals and rapscallions out there. First and foremost, I hope everybody is having a great Sunday, enjoying your weekend, staying out of this heat, enjoying some of that nice AC and some good horror flicks. Because at least here in Michigan, it's literally been like 95 degrees with like such high humidity and crazy thunderstorms, and it's just been a bitch, for a lack of better words. So, yeah, hopefully everybody's doing good. But, you know, we're not here to talk about the damn weather. We're here to talk about horror movies. And for today's video, we're going to talk about Motorcity Nightmares 2022. Now, first of all, guys, this is my second time to Motorcity Nightmares, my third convention ever after Astronomicon and the 2021 Motorcity Nightmares. I did a vlog for Motorcity Nightmares last year, which you can find on my channel, and I meant to do one for this one, but to be quite honest, once I got there, I was just having some fun and didn't really feel like pulling out my phone. And, you know, I got a little B-roll and just said, fuck it, you know, just going to enjoy myself here. But with that being said, we are not at a lack for content because I have one hell of a haul from the Motorcity Nightmares 2022. So this video is just everything I picked up, and let's get right into it. So it pains me as a physical media collector that I only grabbed 2 Blu-rays, but Vinegar Syndrome and Synapse Films, which were 2 of the companies that were there last year and at Astronomicon, were not. So though my wallet is very happy I didn't have to spend that much more on Blu-rays, I am a little bummed I couldn't grab more. But out of the 2 flicks, here's what I grabbed. I got Troll 2, which I've already bought this once before, which I gifted to John Campbell. I got it from a dollar store when we were going to get wrist tape and everything before an IWE show. And I can't help but feel like I got swindled with this price, you know, convention prices. But, you know, I was looking for something fun and said, fuck it, I'm grabbing motherfucking Trolls 2. This is known as, like, one of the worst horror movies of all time. So bad it's good. Like, look at these trolls on the back. And, you know, screw it. Have to own it. I mean, the artwork's pretty dope, definitely. Now, the second title I picked up is actually a Vinegar Syndrome title. This is one I've seen before on their website, and seems interesting enough. Death Row Game Show. Now, I don't know if this has anything to do with, like, inmates getting killed on the game show or whatnot, but I can at least put two and two together to the extent that, you know, people's lives are on the line in a game show. And Vinegar Syndrome puts out a lot of great stuff, but a lot of bad stuff. So sometimes it's hit or miss with these B, C, D level movies they put out. But either way, I love the fact of some of the obscure stuff they put out. And this movie just seems wonky enough for me to love. Alrighty, so for some reason, on the way to this trip to Motorcity Nightmares, I told Nick Baker and Cody, two of my friends I went with, I just said, you know, for some reason, I feel like I'm going to buy an action figure, just something kind of different at this convention. I'm not a figure guy. I have some figures that people gifted to me, some Jason figures, Razor Ramon, and then, you know, some NECAs that come with pre-orders through Scream Factory. But, I don't know, just was in the mood to buy some figures, so I bought the male and female aliens from They Live. Now, this is one of my very favorite movies, and I guess a lot of my friends caught wind of that, and people have just been gifting me stuff from They Live over the last 2 or 3 years. So I have a pretty nice They Live collection, and I couldn't resist. If you guys have ever seen the movie, you would understand how nice these cards are right here. The all white on white, obey, submit on the back. Collect them all. One of the best John Carpenter films, starring Roddy Piper. Kind of a satire on consumerism, but I just thought these were really cool. And, you know, not the biggest figures. Be cool to hang up. Glad I grabbed these. Alright, what do we have next? Okay, from the same guy that I picked up those They Live figures from. Last year, 2021, Motorcity Nightmares, I was so mad at myself for not picking up this Fangoria magazine that, I don't know the actress's name off the top of my head, but the woman who played Julie in Return of the Living Dead Part 3 on a Fangoria magazine, one of my favorites growing up, one of my sister's favorites growing up, and I wish I would have grabbed that magazine. So I was kind of looking for a cool Fangoria, but I found a pretty cool Slaughterhouse magazine instead. We have an article on Fright Night 2. We have a Linnea Quigley spotlight and a John Carpenter interview talking about They Live. So the cover alone, like, how cool is this? I don't collect many horror magazines. Actually, this might be my first, if I'm being honest, but this looked like the best one I could find, and I was happy to grab it from the same guy who sold me those They Live action figures. Alright, and this next art piece is something I haven't pulled out of the plastic yet because I don't have the frame. This is from a guy named Ghoulie Garish on Instagram. I think I have the sticker he gave me. Ghoulish, but a lot of art prints. These guys were cool as shit. For one, the guy, the artist, and his friend, a couple Canadian dudes. They had this awesome $100 piece of Roddy Piper with the Intercontinental title. That's what caught my eye, me and Cody's eye. And we started a conversation with these guys. Huge wrestling fans, huge horror fans. Overall, really good guys. And look at this dude's artwork. Unbelievable. Like, the color palette in this, the shading, the bolding, and the outlines. I'm no artist except inside the squared circle, that is, but I really thought this was dope. This caught my eye. I got this for $10. Like, how can I not pick this up? Especially with how cool these dudes were. So, yeah, very happy to have this. Not the biggest piece, so it'll be nice and easy to hang wherever I want, really. But, yeah, great guys, great work. Ghoulish Gary on Instagram. Check it out. Appreciate it, brother. All right. And let me move to this book I bought. So, first of all, this convention, Motor City Nightmares, out of Novi, Michigan, had 3 out of the 4, like, original main 4 characters from Dawn of the Dead, which was the selling point. Everybody but Flyboy. And then they had a panel that went on for, like, an hour earlier in the day, I think, like, 1 o'clock. And then we kind of mixed it up a little bit and went back at 4 o'clock for the Tom Savini panel. And I don't know about you guys, but I love 1990s Night of the Living Dead. George Romero, Tom Savini seems to hate it, but, you know, he mentioned something about, like, the work he was trying to do. And I've heard of this book before. That is Night of the Living Dead, the version you've never seen. But in his, like, talk he was given in the panel, he explained that they have the stills, the storyboards that showed, like, all the stuff he really wanted to do in this movie. And he says, I got a couple left at my table if anybody wants to grab them. I felt like I could just sprint down to the table, which was all the way across this venue. And then when I finally got there, like, hours later, there were still some copies. But, yeah, I'm glad I grabbed this. I've only skimmed through it, but, yeah, it's pretty much all the storyboards from 1990s Night of the Living Dead, like the full story that he wanted to do, which is really cool. I got a signature too. Didn't necessarily ask for Tom Savini to sign this. I mean, why wouldn't I? But he just grabbed it and signed it and charged me money. So, you know, it is what it is. Which I'm glad it's signed, by the way. So, now to get into the autographs. Let's see. First off, we have Galen Ross, who played Fran in Dawn of the Dead, Fly Girl. And let me just say, well, here's our photo together right here, by the way. Let me just say, this lady was so professional and so damn cool, like, so nice. Like, you know, though this is only my 3rd convention, not everybody's the most friendly. And she was a sweetheart. And I just told her how awesome I thought the movie was. How, you know, like I mentioned before with Return of the Living Dead Part 3, I watched a lot of these horror films growing up with my sister. So female representation in horror films, especially back in the day, was something very important to me always. And this is 78. So she's actually, like, one of the first, like, badass chicks in a movie. This was before Alien, you know what I'm saying? And I asked for this photo in particular because I just said, you know, oh, it's a bummer Flyboy isn't here. You know, he's the one missing. Like, he's so cool. He has, like, one of the best character arcs in this movie. And she was so sweet, and she signed it Fly Girl. So I thought that was really cool to personalize it like that. I really appreciate that. And next, we have Ken Foray. Look at that. What a badass, right? So my experience meeting him was pretty cool. It was kind of strange, though, because there was like this photographer that was talking to him, and Ken was kind of distracted, and the photographer kept kind of going on when I was trying to get my stuff. I thought, hey, photographer guy, fuck off. You know, it's my chance to meet, you know, Ken Foray. And, you know, I felt he was a little distracted a little bit. But then when I started telling him, like, how I felt about the movie, I told him, you know, like, this is some real shit. Like, you know, when I was a kid, like Hulk Hogan, Rocky Balboa, you know, those were like the obvious heroes. But I always looked at Peter in this movie as like a hero to me because he was like a badass. He was tough. And it's very satisfying the moment I had, like when I was telling him this, and he just like the look he gives me, he like full on attention, looks at me and smiles and just nods his head and just looks so humbled and happy of hearing this from just regular old me. And we went to take the photo, which is right here. And I thought it was cool because I went to sit behind the booth with him to take the photo. He says, "No, I'll get up for the photo." And I told him as he was getting up, I said, I think, because he was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Leatherface, and I said, I think you're the only guy that's ever kicked Leatherface's ass. And he said something along the lines of like, I would have had him too if he didn't fight dirty. And that was cool. A lot of people around us started laughing and everything. And the way he signed this too, I quoted this for him. I said, this is one of my favorite scenes when Flyboy shoots the gun in the distance of him at the gas pump for the helicopter. And Ken comes up and puts the gun up to him. He says, "You never point a gun at somebody like this." Or, I'm paraphrasing. He says, "Scary, isn't it?" And my best Ken Foray impression, he signed that for me. "Scary, isn't it?" Which, that's so badass. Right after the helicopter scene where the zombie gets the head cut off and everything. Awesome stuff. So next we have the Sultan of Splatter. This is funny. When I first seen Tom Savini in the convention, Cody, Draven O'Shawn, was following me around, and I had like walk away from Tom Savini. I got so nervous. I couldn't go up to him until later. Like I was so scared. And Cody's like the MVP of this trip, you know, because he had my back and walked with me and held my stuff as I got these autographs. He told me, "Hey brother, they're just humans, you know, meet your idols, you know." And I don't want to say anything too bad about Tom Savini here because he's earned that type of respect. Sultan of Splatter, so many good movies he's done. Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Creep Show, The Burning, The Prowler. I love all his shit. But I won't lie. Tom Savini was kind of a dick. I'm just going to keep it real, you know. Part of me is like, he earned that right, and I'm just happy to meet a legend. But then at the other end of it, it's like, man, no need to be a dick, you know. There's many ways to look at this, and it's neither here nor there. Our photo's right here. He looks so pleased to meet me. But, you know, I was pleased to meet him regardless. I was trying to open up to the guy, and he was kind of really short with me and everything. But that doesn't mean he's a bad guy just because of my experience. For all I know, I came off as a douche, but I don't know. Either way, it was a pleasure to meet Tom Savini. Definitely, he's a legend in this industry. It was great. Now, my final one I got. Now, this is the craziest one to me. Scott Reiner, who played Roger in Dawn of the Dead. Right here. Now, when he first came into the panel, Scott Reiner, he was like pushing a wheelchair to the panel. And it's not that there's anything wrong on the surface that, you know, I could see. I just think, you know, our heroes are getting older. This movie was made in 1978. And this was what I was most excited to talk about when I made this video, which I wouldn't say is hard for me to talk about, but this is what meeting your heroes is what it's all about. I wanted to show the Tom Savini photo and give that story before I gave this one, because this was the coolest celebrity I've ever met in my life. Nick Castle, the original Michael Myers, was great, and almost all these people are great, you know, but this was beyond my expectations. First of all, here's our photo together right here. And I'll just say, this was beyond my wildest dreams. Like, this was the guy I like idolized as a kid, because, you know, he was the other cop, the other SWAT team cop with Ken Foray, who's obviously like a 6'5" black guy, and, you know, Scott's kind of a smaller white guy. So like when I was a kid, I kind of related to him a little more. You know what I mean? In that sense. And when I talked to him, I'm paraphrasing too. I told Scott Reiner, I just said, the truth, if anyone doesn't know it. I didn't have a bad upbringing, but, I grew up in, like, government housing with a single parent who had, like, drank a lot and no dad around. And, you could say it's a broken home, but I wouldn't say so. I just told him, I had some struggles as a kid growing up. And I used to escape going to the video store, which is a big reason I have these movies behind me. It was always an escape to go rent a wrestling tape, one of the Rockies, or any horror movie I could get my hands on. And in that hour and a half, 60, 90 minutes, 120 minutes, I could escape from any issues I had in my life. And I just told him that I respected his character because he was smart and he was brave. He was courageous. Like, he would break his strategic idea of doing things to save someone, to be heroic. And I just told him it meant a lot to me as a kid because, like, I believed in him. And I thought, if he can be brave, I'll be brave. If this is how he would do it, that's how I can do it. I can be brave just like Roger in Dawn of the Dead. And I have a witness. Cody's seen this, if anybody wants to ask. Draven O'Shawn. When I told him this, I almost started crying. It meant so much to me. That's how much this shit means to me, guys. And when I shook his hand, Cody confirmed it. Like, looked like he was going to start crying. And we just looked each other in the eyes. And it sounds crazy, guys, I know. But, I'm here making these videos about horror. I am a little crazy. I just felt, for one moment in time, me and Scott Reiner, when we shook hands, I felt like connected. Like the world stood still in a way. Like, I almost started crying. He almost started crying. And then when I took the photo with him, like, it just meant so much to me. Like, how much he appreciated what I was telling him. You know what I mean? Rather than just brushing me off, which can be done, It just, like, it sounds weird if you're not into horror, but his character, like, helped make me who I was, like, as an adult, like, when I was a kid, And for that alone, it's a moment I'll cherish till the day I die. One of the greatest moments of my life, just having that moment with Scott Reiner. And I'll never watch the movies the same ever again. Like, every time I watch it, I'm going to smile that much more. One hell of a fucking dude. I can't say any more than that, guys. Thank you, Scott. I really appreciate that. Whew, got a little emotional. That's just how I feel, guys, man. I'm just going to keep it motherfucking real, 100. You know how we always do this shit on this channel, man. Great guy, I love to throw Tom in front of that because he kind of brushed me off, and the way Scott was just incredible, which they were all great, They were all awesome. Oh, I forgot I grabbed this too. I've always wanted one of these. This is the first thing I bought, by the way. You Need a Medical Supply from Return of the Living Dead. And rest in peace, Bert from Return of the Living Dead. I'm going to butcher his name, but the guy who played Bert, I think he died at 93 today when I'm recording this. And it's funny because I was just talking about him last Saturday, where when I bought this shirt, they had like the triangle that has like the lettering in it where you read like for your eyes. It's in the background when they're in the office. And I was kind of talking to one of the vendors while Cody was talking to the woman at the table, and I told them it was one of my favorite movies, and they say, if you're such a big fan, what does this say? And I don't remember it off the top of my head, but, it says something like, Bert is a lazy son of a bitch slave driver, and he's going bald, or something like that, and I just read it off, and they're like, wow, you really are a Return of the Living Dead fan, which definitely am. Rest in peace, Bert. Yeah, but always wanted one of these You Need a Medical Supply shirt, which I posted this on like the Return of the Living Dead page on Facebook, and somebody was like, good luck wearing that shirt. Whenever I wear mine out, people always ask me where the dispensaries are at. Luckily I live in Detroit and I can tell you exactly where they're at, so there's that. No problem there, brother. Now this is going to be really hard to get in frame. This is the Holy Grail. Now I need Flyboy's signature, and I wish I could have gotten George Romero's. Obviously I heard he was one hell of a guy. Rest in peace. But I got a 27 by 40 inch full-size theatrical poster of the original Dawn of the Dead. I gotta get out of the way. I'm about to fall out of the chair. Goddamn. But I got Scott Reiner right here. I got Ken Foray, I got Gail Ross, and Tom Savini. So, yeah, this is the holy grail right here. Here's a better photo right here to check it out of the poster I got. This is going to be my centerpiece. So, very excited about that. But other than that, guys, that is my whole haul from Motorcity Nightmares. I spent way too much money. But you know what? I work hard, I play hard. This is one thing I look forward to every year now. You know, like they say, like Cody Rhodes once said, spend the money now, make more later, you know? That's how it's done, you know? But, yeah, I would highly suggest anybody go out to any convention in general for something you like. I'm so new to this, and I just think it's fun to show your respects to your heroes and the legends and get the love back, and plus all the independent artists and vendors and stuff like that. It's just fun to support them as well, and even just to be in, you know, a certain place like this where, you know, I was telling Cody, you know, before he came, because he's not a big movie guy necessarily, and he's a little more on, like, I wouldn't say gothic, but, you know, a little more out there with, like, his style, how he dresses. Like me, I love horror, but I pretty much just wear Dodgers hats and white tees. But he showed up, like, with contact lenses on and this, like, jumpsuit and, like, blood in the mouth. And he told me, he says, not a single person batted an eye, like, for how I looked. And I remember telling him, I said, because in the everyday world, horror people like us, we're the freaks. In a place like this, it's all one love, you know? So, very happy to have spent my money the way I did, supporting everybody I did. It was a pleasure meeting all the celebrities. Even Tom Savini was a jerk to me. It's cool. It was a pleasure to meet the man. Yeah, one hell of a day. I was questioning if it would top last year. And I got to let it sink in a little bit, but it might have. You know. Got to go out and get a big-ass steak after and watch SummerSlam at my house with some of my homies. So it was an overall good day. But other than that, you know, like I said, hope everybody's doing good. Let me know in the comments if you've met any of these celebrities. Hey, and let me know some juicy shit in the comments. Tell me what celebrity was the biggest dick you ever met. Like, metaphorically speaking, of course. Like, who's the biggest asshole? Metaphorically speaking, of course. But, and who's the coolest you met? Yeah, other than that, hope everybody's doing good. Yeah, make sure you check out the VHS Days podcast. We have a special guest on this Wednesday, my friend Sean. We're going to be doing a review of Heavyweights. Make sure you subscribe to that on Spotify. That's VHS Days, D-A-Z-E. And tune in next week. I will be dropping a review for Fire in the Sky, one of the creepiest alien movies ever made. But yeah, hope everybody's doing great. Put on a damn horror movie tonight, guys. Heard Prey's pretty good. I might check that one out later. But other than that, Blood Guts Gore. I'll check you guys next time.